In this video, we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting fractions. This is just a short video, just to give you the basics of what you have to do. So let's look at this fraction, 3/7 and 2/7. Notice the denominators are the same. And because the denominators are the same, we can simply add the numerators. That's the numbers on the top. 3 and 2 is 5, so we have 5/7. So when the denominators are the same, you just add the numerators. 3/7 and 2/7 is 5/7. So let's do another one of them. So 5/9, keeping the denominators the same, and 2/9. Because the denominators are the same, we can simply add the numerators. 5/9 and 2/9 is 7/9. Okay, let's do the same. Let's do some subtractions, same kind of process. So 7/8. Take away 2/8. Again, because the denominators are the same, you're just going to subtract the numerators. 7/8 take away 2/8 is 5/8. Let's try one more. So let's have 13/14 take away 3/14. Again, the denominators are the same, so we can simply subtract the numerators. 13 take away 3 is 10/14. Now you should remember from our first video on equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions that we can simplify this fraction. You can see they're both even numbers, so we can divide them both by 2. So I'm going to divide the numerator and denominator by 2 to simplify it. And this is the finished simplified form. So you should always simplify your fractions if you need to. So what happens when the denominators are not the same? So let's try when the denominators are different. Well, are not the same. So let's try 2/3 plus 1/4. Notice how the denominators are different. So you cannot add or subtract fractions until you get them denominators the same. And the easiest way to do that is to multiply them denominators together. So 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. So my new denominator is 12. So I've made both of these denominators 12. Remember what we do with equivalent fractions. I've multiplied this by 4 to make it 12. So I have to multiply the numerator by 4, because whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. This denominator was multiplied by 3 to make it the 12, so you must multiply the numerator by 3. And now you have the numerators on the top of the same denominator, so you simply add the numerators. 11/12. So let's try another one of them. 2/9, we'll call that number 1, this number 2. 2/9 and 3/4. So let's use the same method that we just used. We must make these denominators the same before we can add these fractions. So we multiply these denominators to get a new denominator of 36. Then you're asking yourself, what did you multiply this 9 by to make it 36? You multiplied it by 4. So you must multiply the numerator by 4 to maintain that equivalence. This denominator was multiplied by 9, so you must multiply the numerator by 9. And now, as you can see, they're all over the same denominator, so we can simply add the numerators. So that's your basic adding fractions with different denominators. Let's do another one. 4/13 plus 1/10. So we know we have to make these denominators the same as each other. So if I multiply these denominators, I get a new denominator of 130. What did I do to this denominator to make it 130? I multiplied it by 10. So I must do the same to the numerator, multiply it by 10. So that becomes 40. So what we've got is 4/13 is equivalent to 40 over 130. That's all we're doing, finding equivalent fractions. This denominator was multiplied by 13, so we multiply the numerator by 13. And now we can add numerators. 53 over 130. Okay, we'll do one more, then we'll do some subtractions. So let's have 7/10 plus 3/8. Remembering what we're doing, we're making these denominators the same. So we're going to multiply these denominators to get a new denominator of 80. You have to make sure we keep this equivalent to what we're writing here. So what did we do to that 10? We multiplied it by 8. So we must multiply the numerator by 8. This denominator was multiplied by 10. So we multiplied the numerator by 10. And now you can simply add the numerators. That's 86 over 80. This can be simplified down, so you can see they're both even numbers. That's half the top and half the bottom. As long as we do the same to both numbers. This is a little bit more complex. On the next video I'm going to show you how to do this in more detail. But what we have here is called a top-heavy fraction. So to simplify from this point, how many 40s go into 43 is 1, and there's 3 remaining. Do check out the next video, which is going to go over converting mixed numbers to top-heavy fractions and vice versa. So that's when the denominators are not the same and we're adding. So let's do some subtractions. So subtracting. So the same processes. So now we are subtracting. Number 1, 4/9. Take away 3/4. Again, we cannot add or subtract until we get them denominators the same. So we're using the method where we multiply the denominators together. 9 4s are 36. Same processes. What did we do to that 9 to make it 36? We multiplied it by 4, so you must multiply the numerator by 4. This denominator was multiplied by 9, so you must multiply the numerator by 9. We are going to get a negative number here, but it doesn't matter. 16 take away 27 is -9 over 36. And we can divide both the numerator and denominator by 9 to get -1/4. Didn't really want to show you one like that to start with, but it won't do any harm. It's good practice. Let's do another one. Number 2, 5/7. Take away 2/3. Following our system, we multiplied the denominators together to get a new denominator. Whatever happened to that 7 to make it 21, you do the same to the numerator. So this 7 was multiplied by 3 to make it that 21. So you multiply the numerator by 3. This 3 was multiplied by 7 to make it that new denominator 21. So you multiply the numerator by 7. And now you can simply subtract the numerators. Okay, so just following them basic steps, you're making the denominators the same, and whatever you did to the denominator, you do the same to the numerator. Then follow the operation. In this case, it was a subtraction. If you like my videos, please subscribe, and I'll do some more for you. Thanks for watching.